Welcome to Seven Trumpets Prepper, and in this video today we're going to show you some uses of paracord, such as a lanyard
and a bracelet.
What you into, man?
I'm reading my Lego Bible.
That's a good story you're reading right there.
I know why you wear this blue string.
Oh, why is that?
To keep the 10 Commandments.
Oh, you're exactly right. That's why Dad wears it all the time. Hey, I tell you what, since we learned at scout camp not long ago how to do stuff out of paracord, got an idea. Why don't you help Dad make one of those so that I don't get my good one dirty at work, and then I'll help you make one of those bracelets for your arm. What do you think?
Sounds good.
Let's do it. Okay, to begin this project, the first thing you're going to need is some safety glasses. Now, I know that sounds a little crazy, but we're going to be joining in two pieces of paracord together here in just a moment. And you don't want that molten stuff popping and going in your eye, because believe me, in the past I had something like that happen, and you don't want to ever lose your eyesight. Now, the first materials you're going to need a soldering iron, and John's going to help assist me with that. You're going to need a buckle for making the bracelet later. You're going to need a key ring to put your lanyard on the key ring, since that I'm making me a lanyard to replace for whenever I'm out working my cotton zeet seat that I wear to remind me to keep my Creator's commandments. I'm going to make out of paracord. That way this can take a lot more beating and I can run it through the wash cycle and don't have to worry about turning it up. You'll need some scissors, and then you're going to need your appropriate paracord, which is white and blue for this project. Now, if you're not joining an old paracord, then you don't even need to worry about the soldering iron. You can just cut it and just use a lighter if you want to. So let's go to the first part. We're going to join this together. I'm going to start right here, come up from the bottom, and I'm going to start melting that together real slowly, just scissoring it together. I'm going to cut off. What that's doing is just getting that hot and melted. And what we'll do is we'll smash this together as it comes up the top. Just blow that cool. Now we have it. We've joined two pieces of paracord together. Now, what we've got here is our length. We're wanting, about 5 or 6 inches for our length. And then we're going to make about an extra 2.5 foot, because I like to have plenty of extra to pull really tight with. Okay, now the first thing we're going to do as far as getting the loops going is we're going to run our loop through the key ring. Right, so as we've run our string up in the key ring here, we just take and loop that back through our loop and snuggle this down, and that's got our string tightened onto the loop. And this is going to be the same way that we will do for the bracelet. So there's that portion done. Okay, now that we've got our cord around our key ring, we're going to come up here to about 4 inches. I think that's going to be pretty close to what I have now. So I'm going to take and I'm going to go over. Now the color that you want on the inside, you always need to take the other cord and go over it. So for me, I want the blue to be to the inside, so I'm going to go over my cord. I'm going to come through. That's going to start at the bottom of the end. Then I'm going to make me an S. I'm going to take so I've come over the cord, I've snaked back under and behind and made an S. I'm going to go over that and through the other one. So I went from from bottom to top. Tighten this together, and there is the bottom of my zeet seat. And now what I'll do is I'll just go back and forth like that manner. So here is another S. Now that's just like the one I made a minute ago. I come through and behind. This is all behind my cord, so there's my knob. I'm going to go right here, up through, and then over. And what will happen is as I tighten that, like I said, I like to have a lot of cord because I like to tighten it very, very tight. And there you go. And that's starting the pattern. And then I'll just make an S behind it again. I'll take the end of my cord and go up through it and then down through the other. Pull my cord through and get it tight. Now I'll repeat this process on down to the end, and then I'll show you how to finish at the end. Okay, now one thing to keep in mind is as you're doing this, here's the white on this side. So I'm making my S. Alright, then I'm going to come from the bottom of the white up and through just like so. But as I get on to this side, then I want to take my white cord and go back this way to the left this time and come through the bottom and back up and over. That way I don't get my pattern mixed up, because you'll know if you've messed up, your cord will want to twist and your colors are not right. So that's one thing to keep in mind, and that way you're going back and forth, back and forth. Okay, now we've gotten to the end of doing our cord on our lanyard, and we have just a little bit of a gap left. Now what you'll do is if you'll push up on your cord and just tighten a little bit, it gives you just a little bit of space. I've got just enough cord left to run through. Need one more loop. This is why I said to make sure and leave you plenty of cord. As you can see, I didn't waste anything. I've got just enough left to finish it. And pull that real tight, and then there is what the finished product looks like. Now what you'll do is you'll take that white, you'll take your soldering iron, and forgive me because I'm not the best with this thing. You want to be very careful and melt that down into place. Make sure that it meshes in with the blue. You're kind of just cutting it in a way. There's that one done. And then we'll go to the other side, and we're going to take and we're going to melt this one just likewise. Takes a moment to cut through, just be careful not to burn yourself. Alright. Now, and there's what we've got. There's my new Zeet Seat for on the go, and there was my older one, my cotton. So it looks like I'm ready for some traveling and some hard work now, and that should hold up good in the wash. Now I owe a little kid a paracord bracelet, so let's get to work on that now. Alright, so my little helper is going to bring me the cord that he was wanting for his bracelet. He is wanting orange and blue, so we're going to put that together now. And once again we're going to join our cord, so I'm going to do that now. Okay, so now at this point what we're going to do is we're going to take and loop our string through again just like we done earlier, except right here we're going to make sure that when we loop that, we're going to loop it so that we bring our string over and through it, and then as we pull our other back through, we'll make that loop where we melted our string together to the back. Now that we've looped that through, we have that on one side of the buckle. Now what we'll do is we'll come around to the other side. Okay, so after we looped it and made sure that our burnt spot is on the back side of the bracelet where nobody will see it, we come through and we just come up through the bottom and out the other side. Now I'm going to need little man's hand here so that I can tighten it down, see where we need to be with it, and mark it. Now what the rule of thumb I learned was 3 fingers would give you enough room to, whenever you braided it, that takes up some space too, and you don't want it tight on your hand. So we're going 3 fingers depth, and I'm going to mark it. Now I'm going to undo this buckle, and now we'll begin our looping process. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Now what we'll do is we're going to take the color that we want, we're going to go over, and we're going to begin looping it. So what we want to do is being that Jonathan's going to have the orange on the outside and the blue on the inside, we're going to be in our first S with the orange underneath. Now we'll take our blue. I cut this cord rather long this time. Give me just a little bit of extra. So we're going to go through right there and then right there through that side. And this should begin our first knot. Now you don't want to pull it tight, because what will happen is you'll go and yank your cord up and shorten it. You want to go slowly and just a little bit along. And that begins that first one. Now that we're done with that one, we're going to go and we're going to S it back from the other side now. Through the bottom, up, and down through the top. And all this, just like the lanyard, will begin to tighten up. And we'll have our design on the top, and then the bracelet will be properly made. See, there are buckles in the proper orientation. So now we'll come back through underneath. We brought our blue up through and then over. And just like that, we're getting our pattern going again. Now I'll continue this pattern down to the bottom. Okay, so we're here at the end of our bracelet. It looks like it turned out pretty good. We're going to make that one last S just like the lanyard. And now with this one though, be careful not to get your string over the front of the buckle and mess up your loop. Pull it up through the bottom very carefully, through the top on the other side, and make sure that it don't catch in your buckle. It goes around it, and there we go. That's looking very nice. Very pleased with how that one turned out. Alright, now at this point in time, we're going to do just like the other one. We're going to take and we're going to tighten that up, and we're going to start burning through that cord. And then we're going to take the back side and we're going to do the blue against the orange at the top there. We're going to take and melt that into place. You want to be very careful about this. You don't want to lose the tension on your cord. Just want to melt it very carefully. I don't recommend using a lighter for making these bracelets. I think you definitely need to take your time, and when you're done, use a soldering iron. That way you know that there's only a little bit of mark made. That's all the mark that's left. Now I'm going to get my little helper up here and make sure that it fits him. Don't want to burn him. I'll make sure all those are done. And now we just want to clip that on. And John, I like your new bracelet. What do you think? Good deal? Mm-hmm. All right.
Remember, paracord can be very useful.
And we hope this has been a help to you. So until we see you again, have a most blessed day in Yahushua's name.